Welcome back. I'm Kim Bailey. She's Fulyana Osborne, and this is Inside Exec. Today we're continuing our conversation with Beck Cofrancesco. This is the final part of our conversation with Beck. We're going to pick up where we are continuing our discussion on what it's like to work with freelancers.
Goes to my next point. When you work with freelancers, it's about building relationships as well.
Yeah.
It's fine to do one-off jobs, but most people like long-term clients because you get better results for them because you get to know them. And that's especially true with copywriting or when I create content for people. My biggest compliment is if someone says, "Oh my God, you were just in my head. You're using my words."
Yeah, that's it.
The only way I can get to that is because we've taken the time to get to know each other, treat it as a relationship, bounce ideas around. I will listen to the phrases you use and to be able to pepper them back into content so it sounds more like you.
Yeah.
But if you're not willing to talk to me or spend time with me, it's very hard to do that. It is a relationship, and most freelancers will still be thinking about your business when your job is done.
Yes.
Or the good ones, anyway. So I think that's why you've got to treat it as a relationship and kind of know that it's that same kind of period where there's a period where you get to know each other, and as time goes on, you really get to know each other.
Yeah, it's understanding
and
appreciation. It has to be both ways.
Both ways. And then that comes down to the last one, which is about trust. What I see in hiring freelancers outside your business for a reason. So a lot of time freelancers are brought in because either marketing teams are non-existent or they run a very lean marketing team where they're just pulling in talent on demand and experts in areas that they need it, or just internally they don't have the expertise in-house to be able to manage things. But what happens is we have that tendency to think we're all a marketer. We've all been marketed to. We are on social media, some of us. We're on social media. We're consumers, we're buying. So our expert level or perception of our expert level is quite high. My advice is that we need to trust the people we've hired, because too many cook in the one thing, it starts to get really disjointed. I find that depending on who's involved, it's really important to get the right stakeholders who understand what parts they're signing off. The amount of times you have an argument whether you can start a sentence with an "and", because that's you're talking conversationally, but official grammar breaks the rules. It's okay to break the rules sometimes. They're my tips for working with the freelancers. I think it's a good trade-off for everyone involved. Gives flexibility for people with work.
Yes.
It allows, businesses to cherry pick when they need work done and, get the best talent. Someone who's working in that space every day, good freelancers should be up to date and really current with what's working and what's not. Right.
But we've talked in the past to a couple of others who worked on their own, come out of big environments to work on their own. What motivates you on the days where you really don't want to do something?
Well, paying the mortgage is a big motivator. You are meant to have some big purpose.
No. What we want is for people to understand that they're normal.
That's the reality. Is that I live in Sydney, still have a mortgage to pay, and same reason why we still turn up at work when you're in a 9 to 5.
So that's what I wanted.
You have to show up.
So that's what I wanted you to say. Is that it's the same as going to work.
Yeah.
Yes,
you have to show up.
What do you do then to move your headspace away from this is not just a job, this is me?
I think for me, thankfully, I am very self-motivated, so I always have been. So it's not as an issue for me. But of course there are times when your energy lags, but I find that I'm definitely a morning person. My most creative work or when I'm writing, I do it in the morning. So for me, it's about understanding my ebbs and flows and energy and realising that, hey, I like working this time. So this morning went to the gym, did a couple of hours at home, had Sharp come in here to talk over the podcast, and then I know that between 2 and 4 is I'm really rubbish because I've done all the hard stuff.
It's your biorhythmic low.
I've done all the hard stuff, all the really thinking stuff that I need to do. So I'll often, if I'm working from home, I'll take myself off for a walk.
Yeah, that's
or I'll
re-energise,
or I'll do something else. Or if when I work co-working spaces in the city, I will actually go home I will travel.
Yeah.
Right? So I go, I'm sitting on a ferry.
Yeah.
Again, it's recharging me anyway because I'm staring at the water, feeling good. But I just go, well, rather than travel because my brain kicks into gear again after 4. And it's like you imagine, because you're like, oh, deadline, got till 6 o'clock or whatever to, get stuff done. It's like, I'll just answer random emails on the ferry or none.
Yeah.
Right? So I'll travel when I know my brain's not
at its
best.
It's important, I think, for people to understand that they do need to recognise that when they're working for themselves or in a partnership, that they do need to recognise those times and not to be guilty about the break time.
I think
that they don't
the
have to work 24 hours a day.
That's right.
And I think that the hardest thing is switching off.
Yeah.
I think when you're working on your own, because there's always something to do. There's always something to do. So if you can not beat yourself up when you want to have a break, or even if you want to have a nana nap,
it's okay.
Right?
It's
absolutely
you
fine.
end up better for it anyway.
And you probably worked 10 days straight.
Yeah, that's it.
And so, oh my gosh, you're not, people have this misconception that freelancers just hang around in their PJs all day.
Oh gosh, it's actually harder. I've got another point about freelancers. I just wondered what the view, both of you, on this. A good freelancer, as you said, they're always thinking for their client.
Yeah.
And they want that relationship. And not just because to get repeat business for the money, but because they know they can do it better because I understand my client and I can give them better and in a short period of time. There is a line that talking to other freelancers, is a bit of a struggle where the project is finished and it's all gone. And people, because you're kind or committed or caring, they keep bringing and asking stuff as if you're still on the books. You want to keep the relationship, but they're treating you as an available resource.
I think that comes down to boundaries. So there's a difference between me proactively saying, I've seen something, and I go, oh my God, that's a brilliant opportunity for one of my clients. Right? And I would shoot something up and I'll say, oh, hey, I just came across this. I think this would be perfect for you.
Yes.
Like, hope all's well, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
And then send it off. That's kind of no expectations. I've seen it, I've thought of you. That could be a really good thing for you. If someone's constantly asking you to review this or do that or whatever, what I do is the boundary is if it's, oh, hi, we're just talking, right? If I've initiated conversation with you and it's like, oh, we're just chatting about this, and you go, oh, I've got this problem, of course I'm going to answer. If it's a constant flow of emails, I'll go, great, this is probably 2 hours work or this is an hour's work. Should I invoice you at the end of the month? Or how do you want that? Right. So it's about introducing the money conversation.
And not let it go and then get cranky about it or get feeling used. You have to take the lead.
Well, you have to take the lead because if you think of a client like a kid, a kid's always going to take the ice cream, right? And ask for more if they want the topping or something else.
That's true.
They're never going to know unless you give the boundaries that you go, no, you can have, you've had an ice cream already, you can't have the second one.
Can have it, let's organise a meeting and set up a new framework.
The thing is, I think every freelancer's probably been there. And I think, especially in marketing too, maybe there's a lot more women marketers than men. We're kind of traditionally a bit people-pleasing. And we want to be liked, right? At the end of the day, we want people to like us. Saying no can be a really hard thing. The moment I put a boundary in, it means people respect that too. And if the people who don't respect the boundaries you place, it's because they don't benefit from it anymore. And you don't want them. No. So those clients can go, and then you're opening a bit woo-woo, but you're actually opening the door for more of the clients you like. The more you say no.
That's true.
Like I fired a client this year before we even started.
I think that's really important because not all clients, we covered this in others with other people as well, is that what's your ideal client was the topic. And you have to, because it doesn't mean just because they're a client that you have to take everyone on.
You can't be all things to everyone. I think it's really important that you understand the value of saying no.
Yes.
And that you move beyond the hurt and the guilt and the worry to saying, no, I have to say no because I have boundaries. There's only one of me and there's lots of you out.
Chatting with other freelancers, it comes from scarcity mindset. Because you're like, if I say no to this, what if there's not another job?
Yes.
And what if I don't get paid this month? Or what if? But I've not seen it where every time I've said no, opportunity knocks the very next day.
Of course, because you're doing that for a reason.
Because you're clear, like you go, no, that's not the right work for me. And the more, again, it sounds woo-woo, but the more intentional you are about what you want to do and what you stand for and the type of clients you want to work with, it's really easy for people to know that you're the right person to work with you. Because it comes across in everything. And that's kind of what brand work is.
I just would like to ask you, if you don't mind, tell us a bit about how you're enjoying your business, and anybody interested in your business, how to go find you?
Marketing Goodness has been going for just over 3.5 years. The last year and a half is full-time at Marketing Goodness. So I think as a freelancer, I was a little bit scared to cut the corporate ties because I was quite happy with my regular paycheck. I went back down to a couple of days a week in corporate so that I could then build the business. But then you realise that you're not hungry enough to focus all your attention on the business. So I did the deep dive a year and a bit ago, and I haven't looked back. I've learned a lot of lessons along the way about being a freelancer, and you might be an expert in the game, but you're not an expert at running your own business just yet. So lots of lessons along this year, but I feel that what I've done is constantly show up. So I say to my clients that about marketing is about showing up and reminding people that you're there. So I feel that I've done that, and that's why I have a constant kind of stream of business of regular clients, new clients from LinkedIn, and people that are referred to me. The things that I do the most are around marketing strategy up front. So like I said, you can't, if you want to go somewhere, you would usually have a little map or a plan to get there, and that's all strategy is. It's about how to get from A to B. My strength is in getting to know you and unpacking everything about your business to help create a realistic marketing plan that you can follow and afford, and that makes sense for your business. And then of course, over my years I have written a billion communications, so it's a natural kind of segue into content creation and copywriting. So not only do I create the strategy for you, I can help with implementing some of the key messages and writing articles and brochures and web copy and things like that for people. So that's kind of most of the type of work that I do. Obviously financial services is my background, so a lot in that space, a bit in the startup space with a few, and local businesses as well. So for local businesses, it's usually more of a coaching session where it's just like, let's have a chat. We're not ready for a big full marketing plan, but we need some guidance as to where to go.
Do you have a personal development plan for yourself?
Yes, this is one of them. Everyone, this is my first ever podcast. So, and I have to say, you guys have made it so lovely because I don't feel self-conscious at all. I was really nervous on the way here, I have to be true. One of the things, again, is about showing up and doing things outside of my comfort zone. My development plans are to help scale my business so that it's not just me. I do a lot of training. I'm halfway through. Again, you need an extra person to make it happen. But to do an online LinkedIn training course, one module as well for financial services people as well, because there's such strict rules around what you can and can't say. So I just want to cover that, so that will also help the compliance police feel good that the training is actually protecting you and allowing you to shine on social at the same time. So it's developing some online courses and putting myself out there a little bit more. The next stage might be video. So something about the video that, and I get it, and I see it with clients all the time as well, because I'm always like, you've got to put your face out there, you've got to show it. I'm not taking my own advice. It's just shy.
Kim can do that very well for you. She doesn't take no for that.
She's nodding, and I'm like, why did I say that?
There wouldn't be a follow-up.
Personal development for working by yourself as a small business owner, it's up to you to make it happen.
But it's also important. The message I want to get out is that there are lots of things when you start to work for yourself that you feel guilty about, And going off to training courses or spending time doing other things is a big area. And because of my background, this is an area that I will not let you get away with.
Yeah.
So my message as part of that is that, yes, you can train for all of the things that are related to the work that you're doing, but you've also got to train you to be the business person that the business needs.
Yes.
Or participate in forums and going to, whether it's in-country, out-of-country.
Yeah.
People say, I can't afford that, I'm not earning enough. Yes, you've got to work out the money side, of course, but you can't put yourself last because you'll end up worse
There's a
off.
stack of online stuff you can do now.
Yeah,
too,
as well.
Of course. And even like a few weeks I'm going to Melbourne for Copycon. So I know these people may have heard of Kate Toon or not, but she runs this amazing community of copywriters and content creators that what I like about her conference from last year, and even I've joined their community, is it's not just about copywriting. It's all the stuff that we're learning in there is about how to run your business.
Yeah.
And so for me it was like a light bulb, perfect timing, that here is everyone, like-minded people, all generous. We could all be charging people for the advice, like we all jump in and give our advice in the group. Everyone could be charging for that, but we're like, no, we share because
you help each other.
Well, it's community over competition, because if you've come from a mindset where everybody wins, and that there's enough business to go around for everyone,
that's true.
And I remember there was someone at Citibank, I won't mention his name in case he doesn't like the name, but he said to me once, and it's always stuck in my head, and purely because it was quite funny, but it actually still stays true, but he was like, there'll be no skinny kids around here, Beck. And I was like, what do you mean?
Everybody's going to be well nourished.
We're all going to get no, but we're all going to get fat and happy. It means we all get the same opportunities. We all get a share of the bonus. We all celebrate in our success. And I think that, even though that's like it's a funny to me, but it's stuck in my head. I think that's my approach to business. That if everybody wins, if we all lift our game, calling my business marketing goodness. Even though people call me the marketing goddess, marketing goodness was because I was sick of hearing people say that, oh, I've got ripped off by this guru. And I'll just say, if it sounds too good to be true, it is.
It is.
You're not going to make a 6-figure business in a day.
No.
Sorry, but if they are, why are they still selling it?
Yes.
Like, because they don't need the money.
Yeah, that's right.
Just to wind up, we might put you on the spot. Ask you about your photography passion. Let's just go completely away from the business side of things altogether, and we'll finish off with you telling us why this is a passion.
I've always taken always taken photos, and I think having a camera in your hand every day just opens your eyes and the opportunities that everyone can be a photographer now. For me, it's a creative outlet, and I am one of those annoying people that stares around the room and will find, I'll look at your photo and I'll find the weird person 4 people back that's, it's got the weird eye. I've always loved taking pictures, and I think I do have a good photography eye. So I'm always seeing things in my head, like framing, I think it's just something that I love doing, and I take ridiculous amount of photos. I've started taking street photography just on my phone and doing black and white just because I enjoy it. My Instagram account, I play along.
Well, obviously you keep all the photos. Do you go back and look at stuff?
I do, and it's interesting because, I've got an SLR and an iPhone, and I think my SLR journey, to me it's interesting, a photo that I thought was great 10 years ago. I look at it now and I go, oh, that was a bit ordinary. But at the time, that was the best of my capability. I'm also someone with photography that my job is to get the best photo in camera. So I actually I'm probably one of the only photographers who don't know how to use Photoshop. Purely because my joy is in seeing the scenery and seeing it in right there and capturing the moment in the camera. My joy is not sitting in front of a computer for 5 hours to create an image that looked nothing like I just saw. So I'm a bit of a purist.
If you think about it in a theoretical sense, do you think that approach, given that you've had that passion for such a long time, do you think you've brought that over into the business side of things?
Definitely. Even with design. I do all my own design work, and I take all my photos from my social So, and people are like, oh, where do you get all your photos from? Like, and I've had one photo shoot with somebody, but I styled it and I directed it and said, oh, we need this and this, and I brought my little props along. And so, yeah, I definitely have brought that across. And, you know, using tools like Canva that are free, or I've bought the business version of it. You can be as creative as you want. So
can I just mention for all of you listening that while we're recording this, we do not have a photo of Beck to use on the website.
Oh, well, I'm going to unselfish selfie. There's this guy in America who he introduced this term to me, and I said, I'm claiming it. It's not mine at all. But the thing is that we're all together, and I have to take a selfie of the three of us, and I'm going to tag you on LinkedIn and say what a great morning I've had with this podcast, because I'm making you look good.
Yeah.
So that's why it's unselfish. But I'm also kind of getting the kudos by being associated with these two gorgeous ladies.
Oh, look, we're going to end it now.
Yes.
Let's finish now.
No photos.
I'm sure that will be on the edit floor.
No, it won't be on the edit floor because I need to have opportunities where Fulyana is lost for words. You
like
all
it.
know
As
this.
soon as you say photos, as soon as you say videos, I'm frozen.
But I will do one last little thing, that if anybody is looking for some marketing help, who needs to get clear on what marketing would make sense for their business, or want some copy that your customers will love, come along to marketinggoodness.com.au.
Fabulous.
Excellent.
Thank you for that. And we will put the links and the link to
Yes.
if you want to sign up to get the information that Beck talked about earlier
Yes.
at the bottom of the post on the webpage. But for now, I will thank you, Beck, for your time and your expertise and your sharing.
Thank you.
I'm Kim Bailey. She's Fulyana Osborne. We've been talking to Beck Cofrancesco, and this is Inside Exec.